Finding an online job is hard. Nobody's going to hire me with zero experience. The online job market is oversaturated. All these beliefs, I'm going to break them down on this call, and I'm going to lay it all bare. Everything you need to know to actually land your own appointment setting role in the next few weeks or the next few months, depending on your level of commitment. I'm going to walk you through the 7 pillars, so by the end of this video, you'll be able to land the job with zero experience. That being said, if you don't know who I am, my name is Adrian. I've made 2K to 6K a month consistently as a setter. I've been a setter myself. I've been cold calling, inbound, then became a setter manager, then closer, and now I do operations where I come into companies. I help them grow their setter teams and their operations, and I place, manage, train setters to then get them placed into those companies. So with that being said, let's actually get into it. The first thing that I want to address is a belief of, what if I can't get a role due to inexperience? I hear that very commonly because it's kind of like a catch-22 nowadays, where you need experience to get a job, but then to get experience, you need a job. So what do? The first thing that I'll tell you is that from somebody who's in this market, there's genuinely a lack of great setters. There's average setters, there's mess setters, there's bad setters, but great setters are rare. And if you think about it, how is it that people are still able to land roles even without experience? It tells you that it is possible, right? And I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why is because when it comes to being a setter, 80% of the game is who you are. Like, people can teach you scripts, you can get taught how to do certain things, when to say certain things, how to say them. But the one thing nobody can teach you is showing up with energy, you're having good work ethic, learning things fast, being able to think for yourself. All these kind of qualities are valued so much more than what you already know by companies. And even in some cases, by the way, some companies will favor people with no experience because of the fact that they don't need to unlearn anything. They just have to learn something new, right? It's easier to learn something new than to unlearn something that you learned, which might no longer serve you in this new role, right? And so that's the first thing, which is like, great setters are genuinely rare, and that learning appointment setting or standing out is not so much about what you know, it's about who you are. Now, of course, knowing and having the knowledge and these skills and the advanced stuff, like, that's how you go from good to great. But to at least get into your feet wet in the space, you can definitely do so just by showing your characteristics, right? So to summarize this one topic, the number one skill that people look for when hiring for a setter is hunger and the willingness to go the extra mile for that company. And if you can demonstrate that, it doesn't matter how much experience you have, you will be able to land the job. So without further ado, let's get into the first sort of, actually, before I get into the pillars, I will say that the one thing you want to kind of keep in mind as we go through this is you want to lean into your strengths and tailor to that. Like, I'm going to give you a 7-step process that ideally you want to all do in conjunction, because some things that, they're one time and then they keep getting you offers, but then other things you got to keep doing them repeatedly. So for more of those things that you got to keep doing, I would say tailor to the strengths and lean into that, because in my case, for instance, my strengths are on the phone and on meetings, so I prefer cold calling companies who are hiring as my method of finding my own customers for now. So for me, that's my ideal approach, and also I have a vast network that I use as my primary method as well. So I have lots of business owners that I've got their contact information. They know that I basically train setters and I place them into businesses, and if I ever need to reach out to somebody to get a setter place, I can always hit up my network, right? So in your case, you want to think about it similarly. Like, what are your strengths? Are you better at DMing? Are you better at calling? Are you better at making content? And then based on that, you can tailor your strategy from what I'm about to show you. So now the first pillar in the 7-step process is the profile optimization. This is something you're going to want to do regardless of what your strengths are, because it's kind of undeniable nowadays that when somebody's about to hire you or make a decision on who they want on their team, they're going to inevitably look at your profile. They're going to inevitably look you up. And most times you actually ask for an Instagram or LinkedIn handle on job applications. So you actually want your profile to look human. And if you want some inspiration from this, you can kind of like maybe go my profile on Instagram, go to somebody else's profile that you know of, like the creator. And here's the thing, like, you don't need to have content about appointment setting or like making videos about appointment setting or sales related content. You don't need any of that. All you need is a clear, professional looking, or not even professional, like just casual profile picture that actually looks decent. Not like you've not drunk in a party, but like you, let's say in a half decent outfit in a casual environment, right? So you want a clear profile picture, a good enough bio, so it can just be something like entrepreneur, sales, and then maybe like a quote of yours that maybe you want to list. I don't know, like Alex Shamosi or something, and write a quote in your bio. And then in terms of your posts, just have some posts about your lifestyle, hobbies, wins, etc. The best kinds of personal pages that I see are the ones where in the the Instagram grid, they'll add things like their last trip to like a new country. They'll add some some wins about something that they achieved in like I don't know, competition or work environment, whatever it may be. Maybe adding some highlights about something they've recently done, stuff like that. That could just humanize you. That shows a little bit more about the kind of life that you live. Because again, like what you actually do in your life will speak volumes about your character, which in turn can speak volumes about who you. Because again, if you have something that speaks volumes about who you are, and people care mostly about who you are when hiring setters with no experience, then that will kind of speak for itself in some cases. Real quick, if you want to get into high-ticket appointment setting and make 2K to 6K plus a month in the next 60 days, but you have no idea where to start, or you've been trying but you keep hitting walls, you're not landing roles, fumbling offers, and overall you just want to get there a lot faster, or maybe you're an existing setter who's just dissatisfied with their results, click on that first link in the description, and book a call with me. I specifically help people like you get to a 2K to 6K plus month on target earning consistently. That being said, back to the video. So do that. You can add the high ticket setter in bio, maybe sales, entrepreneurship, whatever. Just like don't ramble, don't add any cringe stuff. Very, very simple stuff. And then you can do the same thing for LinkedIn as well. Just don't overthink it. The next step is reaching out to referrals and network. Keep in mind, by the way, these steps are going to be ranked from highest leverage to lowest leverage. So things that take the least amount of time and get you the highest output to the ones that take the most amount of time and give you the least output. The second thing you want to do is reach out to referrals and your network. There's probably people, like especially if you've been in the online space for a while, you probably know people in the space. You probably have connections with business owners, like employers or hiring managers that you can reach out to in your network, or people who it doesn't even have to be, by the way, like hiring managers. You can reach out to people in your network who are working remotely and ask them about what kind of company they're working in. I recently had a friend of mine that not recently actually, but when I was looking to work as a closer, I reached out to a friend of mine that I knew had gotten a closing position at a different company. And so he actually referred me to that company, which I got an interview with, and I decided not to move forward with them. But you get the whole point that I'm trying to make, which is like, hey, if you have a network of people who already have this, reach out to them and leverage that before you start sort of looking elsewhere. And funny enough, even myself, like I got about 3 like job proposals for companies that need to hire setters just from my network, right? So there's really power in that. The next thing is recruiters and actual placement agencies. Now, if you don't know what that is, recruiters are basically people who will recruit for companies and place talent into their company. And same thing with placement agencies. They kind of work similar to recruiters, where they will find talent, maybe train the talent, and then get that talent placed into offers. And then the company will pay the recruiter or the placement agency a fee based on the performance of the actual person that is placed. So you have, for example, companies like closers.io. If you look it up, you can apply there as a setter, and you can actually do like a whole interview with them. You can go through the whole process, and they'll basically store you in their database of setters, so that when they have open positions, they can refer you to them immediately. And a good thing about stuff like placement agencies and recruiters is you do them one time, and they keep generating business for you. They keep generating offers, right? You can do this with closers.io. I'm not going to tell you exact names out there. Like you could search online on Google, like placement agencies for appointment setters, or recruitment agencies for high ticket setting or sales or whatever. You can go down that route, and then you'll find websites or like companies that do this kind of stuff. Even just ask ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you use. Ask them to find you these kind of recruitment agencies. And then what you want to do is apply through them, right? And then again, like we spoke before, you want to lean into your strength being who you are as a person and how that relates to you being to your ability as a setter. So you want to take whatever soft skills that you have, whether that be in past jobs or in things that you're doing in your life, or even in your own, like in your self-belief and commitment, and use those soft skills as your selling point when you're applying and reaching out to these placement agencies. Because trust me, they will value that, and they do want people like that. And if there's one thing that great setters lack, is that genuine drive, number one. And number two is actually just being smart, right? Like, yeah, like not everybody is that smart in this space. Let's put it that way. Now, yeah, so the recruiter agencies, they make money by placing talent. So, of course, it's a win-win on both sides. What you want to do is reach out as well. This is on LinkedIn, by the way. So when it comes to recruitment agencies, you can always just look them up on Google. You'll find quite a few. On LinkedIn, you can actually reach out and connect with a bunch of recruiters. So what I would do is I would just search certain like recruiters on LinkedIn about specifically around sales recruiters or Like, yeah, you can search among those titles, like recruiters for sales, recruiters for marketing companies, or just recruiters in general, and just spam connection requests. I think LinkedIn free plan has like a 200 connection a week request limit. So just go on and spend like a few hours just mass sending connection requests to as many recruiters as you can without a note, because if you do with a note, you only have like 3 connections that you can reach out to. And then once you actually connect to those recruiters, tell them about what you're looking for. Hi, I am looking for a position as an employment setter. This is why I believe I'm a good fit for this. And you list out those soft skills and those strengths and those reasons that we spoke about of why people should actually hire you. So reach out to them, just build out those connections and build out that network of recruiters. So yeah, so pretty much like I told you already, just search on Google for the highest set of placement agencies and look for things similar to Closers.io. Best example I can give you. And last but not least, you got me, you got RSK, remote setting Kickstarter. If you want to get placed, you can reach out to me. I also do setter placement. So there you go. Number 4 is the fourth leverage thing is the ads library and engaging with appointment setting ads. The best way, and I know this because I literally had a setter that I was with, and within like days, he found an ad that we're hiring for setters, and he got that job. And essentially, one of the best things you can do is look for people who are already hiring, or not even look for them, but make them look for you, or make them come to you, or sometimes look for them as well. Which is why we have the ads library and engaging with ads. Essentially, let's put it this way: you want to search for companies who are hiring setters online. So the way that you could do this is go to the ads library. So if you don't know, you can actually go to the Facebook ads library. And in the Facebook ad library, you can actually search for certain ad categories. Right? So you can click all, select all ads, and search for hiring setters, for instance, right? There's definitely going to be different terms of how people frame this. But if you search this, and hopefully you'll load for me, yeah, there you go. You can actually find people who are actually hiring for appointment setters and apply through there. That's oftentimes, because you're in the ad library, you will not be able to see the actual link to apply. So what you want to do is just take whatever name of the company, take whatever thing you find about the company. So for example, Michael in this case, and I'm going to check out the Facebook page, do whatever I need to do, and look into that online and research into that person, or find if they have a phone number, maybe just DM them on Instagram. Like I'd find as many approaches or ways in which I can reach out to this person and reach out to them, essentially, which is funny enough how I got one of my B2B clients for placing setters in their business. I literally found somebody in the ad library. I cold called them from a number that they had on their Facebook profile, and I got a meeting with them. So you can do the exact same thing from the ads library. It's a pretty powerful strategy, which I don't think a lot of people leverage, because the hard part is actually doing your research, and it takes a little bit more time. But then when you actually do connect with the company and you reach out to them in so many different ways, think about how much that speaks about your volume as a setter. Because if you are treating them like you would treat their leads, and you're reaching out to them on email, you call them, you DM them, you follow up with them, and they're hiring setters, and you apply in their form for a setter application, imagine how much it's going to let you stand out compared to everybody else that just puts an application and moves on. Right? So it's a pretty powerful strategy that you can follow. Another thing as well is, like I said, DMing people, or even before you start DMing people, engaging with sales and appointment setting content. Looking at, like, I don't know, people who are well known in the sales space. You can look at, I don't know, Eamon Gadzi, Cole Gordon, Max Thompson. You can look at all these guys on Instagram, interact with their content, look at who's following, or on Instagram, there's an option to select, like, see more creators like this, and you can look at more people who are also in sales and just engage with their content, interact with it. And anytime you see like any sales-based ads, also engage with them, or any hiring ads, because the more you do that, the more your page on Instagram or Facebook is going to start getting filled with those kinds of opportunities and people who are looking to hire, managers, etc., closers, whatever. And so you can actually reach out to them. So yeah, basically, you might think it's spammy, but these business owners, these salespeople, these sales managers, whoever you're reaching out to, they're going to respect the effort, and they're going to see that you're doing exactly the job that they would have hired, that they want to hire you for. So you're kind of selling yourself in a way. And I kind of talked about it, but my favorite way of getting a setting job is literally cold calling companies who are hiring. And the thing is, this doesn't just have to be from the ads library, because you'll only find so many people there. But on Instagram or on LinkedIn, if you find people who are hiring, look at the name of the company, get their phone number, and cold call them. If you find people on Upwork or Indeed, whatever it may be, if you have a phone number, if you can research a company, and more often than not, you will find a phone number, cold call that company and be like, hey, I actually applied to you guys' position about being an appointment setter or whatever the position may have been about. Did you guys receive my application? And of course, you're gonna do this after you actually apply. But then just watch the reactions of people when you actually do that, especially when you're speaking to hiring managers or the actual business owners. So and this is the thing, nobody does that. It's very easy to stand out that way. So to summarize this one, just use the ads library, use people who are already hiring to find the companies you need to reach out to, and reach out to them. As well as the second thing is engage with ads, engage with sales content, and make sure that you're telling the algorithm that you're interested in sales-based content and hiring posts. Now, the next thing you want to do is free communities that you're a part of or that you can join. So, for example, Closers.io has a free community that you can be a part of. People there make posts. They make posts about hiring, about job offers. They have weekly calls and that kind of stuff where you can also show up, show that you engage, learn a lot of stuff and share with the community. And by default, you start getting more notice. Charlie Morgan as well has a free community for like building a business, all the good stuff. Essentially on Google, you can just search free sales community on school. Facebook as well, that works. I don't like Facebook too much, to be fair, for applications and something like going to Facebook groups, but it does work as well. So just look up for free sales communities, join those communities, engage with the users, especially users who have a job already, because you can use them to actually get yourself in a position, ideally. So you can literally be like, maybe you see somebody posting about how their wins as a closer or a setter, and you can reach out to that person and be like, hey man, I'd be happy to kind of ask you a few questions, see how it helped you with this, and take that route to ideally get them to refer you to the position if possible, right? And oftentimes these sales positions will always offer a referral fee. So more often than not, these guys will be incentivized to try to get you on their offer. So yeah, on school, you can kind of search these search terms to filter for free communities and find those and join them. You can make value posts, train with people on there, make connections with people who already have jobs, and just basically make yourself make it known that you exist. Now, I can't give you an exact SOP how to find this, because there's so many communities out there. There's so many steps that you can take. There's so many things that you can search. But take the general strategy and apply it in a way that makes the most sense for you. And the way to kind of summarize this topic is that you need to immerse yourself in the space to find these people who have these job offers, or who are working in sales, or who are working as a sales manager. And by immersing yourself in the niche or in the space, it's exactly what we talked about before. Engaging with content, joining communities, asking people, reaching out to strangers, like all these things, and essentially making everything in terms of like your social media or your strategy around that one space, which is like appointment setting. And then by default, you'll uncover opportunities as a result of that. So yeah, sometimes they also have free calls that you can join, so you can join that and just make yourself active on there. Now, the sixth thing, and I actually really like this tactic, it's on Instagram. You can search terms like sales manager, closer, high ticket sales, etc. And so you can reach out to people who actively work with companies to help them grow their sales teams. I'm an example of that. I actively work with companies to get setters placed in their business. And so for me, like if for me, having setters that I can place at the go is valuable for me. And so imagine you reach out to me or another guy who works in like growth operations, right? And you reach out to them on Instagram through DM saying like, hey, I'll give you the script in a minute. It could be something like, hey man, I've been seeing your content about placing setters. I'm actually interested in a setter role myself, and I would love to work with you. So another thing this is a different option that you can say, which is like, look, I'm personally looking for a setter role, and with the following engagement that you seem to have, I have no doubts that I can help you add an extra 5 figures a month to your business. This would be the kind of line that you would give not necessarily to a sales manager or a closer, but to somebody with, let's say, a following. So you can find people on Instagram who have like maybe not less than 20K, but who have like 20K plus followers, who get a lot of engagement, who get a lot of likes, views, etc. And then you can pitch them. You can pitch the idea of you coming into their business as a DM setter. So this is specifically for DM setting. And you can kind of sell them on that. But if you're reaching out to these closers, sales managers, and overall people who work with companies to increase their sales, you can always reach out to them about, hey, I'm interested in your content. I'm interested in what you're doing as a closer. I'm actually interested in a setter role myself, and I would love to work with you. Would you mind referring me to the company, or is your company hiring? Just maybe ask a question like that. Optionally, and this is actually what I prefer, send them a voice note. Hype yourself up. Show that you experience, your knowledge. Maybe if you have a guarantee as well, right? So let's say you're reaching out to somebody who's a closer. You'll be like, hey man, I've been looking at your content. I see that you're doing closing for XYZ company. I'm really interested in, well, for me myself, I'm trying to become an appointment setter. I have what it takes. I am willing to do whatever I need to, and I know that I can help you guys, and I know that I can make sure that you get more qualified appointments. So I'd love to know if you guys are hiring, and if so, please connect me with them. That was just a random voice message I came up with. But you can just send them that, hype yourself up, show your knowledge, your guarantee, all that good stuff. And you can apply the same framework with sales managers, other setters, growth operators. You can search these terms on Instagram. And more importantly, once you actually find like a closer or a sales manager, you can click on more people like this. There's going to be an option in Instagram. And you can use that to find more people like that and just keep outreaching to them. Now, same thing with LinkedIn. You can filter through roles and search on LinkedIn for sales managers, closers, setters, title. You can search for the job title, and you can mass send connections, like again, 200 connections a week. Just mass send them to these people because they will be the ones to connect you with the company that you're trying to, with the company that you might end up landing a job with. Now, lastly, I would even give a guarantee on yourself if you're confident enough. Like this will definitely help you stand out, but it has some downside, which is like you can lose money or not get paid. And the guarantee would be something like, hey, look, I'm very confident in what I do. And I'm actually so confident in what I do that I'm going to offer to work with you for free with like the first 100 calls without pay. And if you like what I do, you can hire me. But if you don't, you lose nothing. So imagine, especially as somebody without experience, imagine giving that kind of guarantee or giving that kind of offer to a company that is looking to hire a setter. What does that say about you as somebody? Because like it speaks volumes about your ability to go the extra mile for them. And that will make you stand out from any other setter because none of them do that. Now, lastly, and what's funny is that now we're going to start talking about actual job applications. It's crazy, right? Because you might think that to get a setting job, the best method is just going online and looking through LinkedIn, Upwork, whatever, and apply to jobs there. But what's funny is that this actually comes in last place because everything else is going to be so much higher leverage and allow you to stand out a lot more. So the first thing you want to do is on LinkedIn, Indeed, Upwork, that you can just search appointment setting jobs online and look at whatever websites there are. I personally recommend LinkedIn. That's a decent one. Indeed, I never really got anything from there. Upwork has a lot of backlash. It's very well known for like scammy sort of offers. But if you know how to filter through correct offers, which I'll make a video on soon, I would actually recommend Upwork, which is funny enough how I got my like role that I was making $6K a month with, right? So you can, it's a bit rare, but like it does happen. Now, when you're reaching out to these applications or when you're applying, for the love of God, use Loom videos or unlisted YouTube videos. Think about it. You're applying for a role that is based off of your personality, your voice, your tonality, your way of speech. How could you not send them a video or some proof that you're a human that actually knows how to communicate and that is able to maintain a conversation? So definitely apply with videos because that is, if there's one thing that you need, especially without experience, to stand out, it's videos. And so you might start your application with, I recorded this quick video to show you why I'm confident I'd be a great fit for this role. And you can paste a Loom link or the YouTube unlisted link. And the thing is, like I said before, don't just reach out to them on one channel. If you find a company that's hiring, you can take the name of the company or find whatever details you have, research into them, and then reach out to them wherever you can. Find their email, find their phone number, cold call them, get their Instagram page, right? So it would be like, hey, I applied to, I don't know why it says Zizzy, but I applied to XYZ, just curious if you guys got my application. Like that would be your opening line when you've applied to a job and then you want to reach out to them in multiple different places. I applied, did you guys get my application? And again, it's about what that attitude conveys. What other sellers do you see who are doing that? None, right? So treat them like you would treat their leads or how you would set somebody on an appointment. Treat them like leads to be set. That is the best piece of advice that I can give you for getting a remote appointment setting job, even with no experience. Treat that person like somebody you would set. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram. I mean, like I said before, if you want to get placed, you can do that through me as well. No pressure at all. Hope this was valuable and have a good day.